Hi everyone, this is Doc Gia Sison and thank you for inviting me to speak at Wellness at Sea. My topic today is wellness as a key component to a successful career. So first of all, the biopsychosocial model of health defines that it is a merging of three factors. There is a biological factor, a psychological factor, and a social factor. We all know that this pandemic has actually challenged the social aspect of this model. And here are risks, psychosocial risks in terms of mental health at work. Job design is there, workload, schedule, the way we control things, interpersonal relationships, career development, and of course, home. When you look at this slide, it says that oftentimes mental health problems are complex and it may be a combination of these stressors. So, to your far left are job designs, teamwork, organizational factors, plus home or work conflict. Plus, we have to consider the individual biopsychosocial factors as well, like genetics, how you are as a person, mental health history, lifestyle factors. So, all of these actually um, equate to mental health and well being outcomes. So let's talk about burnout. Burnout is something that was coined by the WHO last 2019 as an occupational phenomenon. And when we define what burnout is, it's a syndrome that is a result of oftentimes problems that are left unaddressed. So it's something chronic. And what are its symptoms? Number one, you feel tired. It, it's an emotional type of exhaustion. Number two, it tends to alienate. You wanna distance yourself from others. And lastly, when it's left unaddressed, it may lead to reduced performance. So we have to remember that we have six characteristics as human beings. So we have an emotional side, intuitive, self-centered side, hopeful, motivated, and a social side. So when you mix them all together, all of these are actually affected if we do not take care of our health. That's why wellness is very important. So, when we talk about workplace wellness, we're talking about workplaces that allow us to flourish. Flourish is a term that has been actually also coined after the pandemic because we have actually sought different ways in how we deliver work. So here it is. There is such thing in psychology, although I'm not a psychologist, but I'm a believer of the PERMA theory of well-being. PERMA is short for positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. So let's talk about positive emotion. Now, this route is to well-being is towards pleasant feelings. This is not to talk about toxic positivity, but it's more of acknowledging that the past has been done. We have the present, and there's a future that we look forward to. So, leaning towards a more positive outlook in life can actually lead towards well-being. The next of the PERMA theory is engagement. It's very important that we try to find our flow whenever we do our task. So when you find your flow, you also experience or try to work around the skills that you have. So in this component of the theory of well-being, we need to concentrate on a task that is you feel that you are in tune with or attuned rather. Relationships are equally important. The experiences that we share and connections to others can actually give our life purpose and meaning. Now, M is meaning, as I mentioned earlier, and this is something that you anchor on, something that is bigger than yourself. So here is when you have your advocacies that enable that sense of meaning in one's life and accomplishment. It doesn't have to be an award or a trophy, but it's something that you feel that you're fulfilled. And this actually leads to positive emotions. Now, let's talk about self care. Self care is actually taking time to get in touch with yourself and find that and do things that help you live well. So self-care should be a habit. And self-care is knowing what you need. So here are four questions that can lead us to listening more to ourselves. Am I aware of my emotions? Am I even aware of my basic needs? So self-care is listening to oneself as well. And self-management. So take a break when you consider triggers. So it's very important you identify your triggers and focus on what you can control in one day. I know that we are already all overwhelmed with what's happening. So trying to focus on one task at the moment is a type of self-care that we should practice. Physical relaxation is part of it, so mindfulness is there. And mindfulness doesn't have to be so complicated. Mindfulness is just being present in your now. And deep breathing exercises as well. So, personally, when I feel anxious, I do the square box breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold your breath for four, exhale for 4 counts, and then hold your breath for four. So it's like you're in a square box. It helps regulate your anxiety at the moment. And there is relationship management. So, how are we towards others too? So, social connectivity can never be erased from the picture whenever we talk about self care. And we have to learn how to establish boundaries. It's learning how to say no when things get too overwhelming. So we have to be aware of our limits and be mindful also of the cues that you are about to reach your limit and learning how to say no. Again, this is a reminder for everyone to practice self compassion, how mindfulness is key, self kindness. So you are kind to others, and that kindness is something that you should give back to yourself. And common humanity is recognizing that these experiences, when you put them all together, are a it's a normal part of being human. And we have to remember that there's no one size fits all plan when it comes to self care. So it's something that is individualized. So for some, self care means huddling up. Sometimes it's just the opposite, being with friends and family. And it's very important too that in the workplace we establish a psychologically safe space. So how it is, how psychological safe spaces are, it's a shared belief that the team is safe for interpersonal risk taking. So it's giving the others the benefit of the best that they have instead of giving them the doubt. So it works a little bit that way. And this is a table at least of it's actually a checklist that can help you if you are actually in a psychologically safe workplace. So in on your left side is when you have it, and on the right side is when you don't. Example is sorry for my dog. So I apologize for that. But example is when you make a mistake, you see it as an opportunity to learn versus a workplace that is not safe when you see mistakes as a threat to your career. So it's important that you also have a venue to be able to speak your mind versus keeping ideas to yourself. So it's about really opening up and being able to talk about your feelings without being judged. So we have to redefine employee engagement as well, and in any space that we have. And the four components of employee engagement is open communication, being proactive in strengthening access to support groups, humanize workplaces, and destigmatize seeking help because it's part of it. So this actually ends my talk and a strong message to everyone and us that wellness is a collective effort. So I'd like to thank everyone who has organized this Wellness at Sea. It's nice to see you virtually. I hope in better days we can see each other face to face. So let's all remember that health is a merging of physical, mental, and the social aspect. So it's important that we hype on the wellness part for us to be able to succeed in life. So with that, thank you so much and have a good day.